Thinking that personal bodyguard meant something literal, Tim Chu agreed happily. A few days later, Lily Han was doing yoga in her apartment. And at this moment, Tim Chu outside the door was sighing repeatedly. Boss Han wronged me. It's not like two people living together at all. With these two cock blockers in the way, there's no way to get through. There's no way to appreciate the young lady properly. The twin bodyguard sisters are staring at Tim Chu intently. Tim Chu should do well to fulfill his duty as a bodyguard. Don't think too much. Especially about Lily. She will start school in 2 days. You must protect Lily. After finishing yoga, Lily Han, who is also charmingly agreed with Chu Gu, said, Brother Chu, please. Later, she also threw a flirtatious look at the determined Tim Chu. And so, a few days later, the day of school opening arrived. Tim Chu and Lily Han arrived at the school together for registration. Looking at the new-skinned Lily Han in front of him, Tim Chu expressed satisfaction. The classmates looked on and began to discuss one after another. It's Lily Han, the school's beauty queen. We haven't seen her for several months. How did she suddenly come back? Tim Chu hurriedly asked Lily Han. Have you been away for a long time? Lily Han's face was full of anger. She replied, There was a guy who kept pestering me before. I can't concentrate during class. As soon as he left, she immediately put on a gentle face and looked at Tim Chu. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have wanted to come back. Tim Chu was taken aback. Do you really trust me this much? Lily Han leaned her head on Tim Chu's shoulder and smiled, saying, Yes, you are the man who saved my life. If I can't trust you, who can I trust? The other people in the back seat were going crazy. What is Lily Han doing? She actually dares to have a boyfriend. Isn't she afraid that her boyfriend will be beaten to death by Matt Jung? But this boy is quite handsome. To be honest, I'm willing to throw myself at him too. Tim Chu patted Lily Han's head. With a gentle smile he said, I won't let you down. Lily Han smiled brightly and replied, I'll leave it to you then. At that moment, there was a loud sound as the classroom door was pushed open. Ma Jung stormed in with a few henchmen. Where is Lily Han's pretty boy? Get the hell out of here. Tim Chu approached Lily Han and asked, Is this the jerk who bullied you? Lily Han grasped Tim Chu's hand and said, Yes, that's him. Tim, you must help me seek revenge. Ma Jung was shocked to see the scene, and suddenly life lost its color. Immediately went crazy and rushed towards Tim Chu. You little jerk. Let go of me, you jerk. Tim Chu paid no attention, dodged with a quick step, and then tripped Ma Jung under his feet. Ma Jung lost his balance instantly and fell on his face. Enraged, Ma Jung turned around and said, How dare you try to block me? Do you want to die? Before he could finish speaking, Tim Chu kicked over, saying, I think you are the one looking for death. Roll away quickly, and don't dirty Lily's eyes. He fiercely kicked Ma Jung in the face with one foot. Ma Jung was ejected with a high-difficulty aerial posture. 2 bodyguards caught Ma Jung ejected into the air. Young master. Are you okay? Are you still alive? Ma Jung pushed the bodyguard away. Let go. Look at me. What a joke. Don't make me bring him over. Several bodyguards gathered around, eager and ready. The little bastard dares to fight our young master. This is asking for trouble from yourself. Admit your mistake obediently. We might spare your life. Lily Han wants to take a look. Be careful. Tim Chu turned around upon hearing the words. Found the perfect angle. She winked flirtatiously. Don't worry, this group of small fry can't hurt me. The bodyguard called Small Fry instantly swarmed up, flirting even at death's door. It looks like you don't want to live. Rest assured, once you're dead, my young master will compensate. Tim Chu swiftly caught the bodyguard's arm. Another bodyguard instantly delivered a sweeping leg kick towards Tim Chu. Tim Chu grabbed the arm of the bodyguard, who had just attacked him, enjoying the playfulness. He watched as another person flew in to kick at him. With a whoosh, he dodged aside. The two bodyguards immediately piled up in an indescribable posture, full of enjoyment on his face. Another bodyguard watched as his two colleagues instantly landed in a box, and stood there dumbfounded for a while in silence. Ma Jung looked at this scene with extreme anger. Brat. He has some skills. No wonder he's so arrogant. But with just this level of skill, he is not worthy to stand by Lily Han's side. Immediately turned around and left, leaving harsh words behind. I'll be waiting for you in the small woods behind the school. If you don't come, I guarantee Lily Han will never have peace. Tim Chu had a big smile on his face. In a cold voice he said, Seeking death, are you? I'll accompany you. As the most talented male disciple of Qing Peak, the treasure of the sect, Tim Chu. After descending the mountain, he became the personal bodyguard of Miss Han from the Han group. On the first day, he gave Ma Jung, who was harassing Lily Han, a good beating. At this time, Ma Jung is in the small forest. Both of you are warriors hired by the Zheng family. That kid will come over in a moment. You know what to do. Seeing a warrior hired by the Zheng family laughed and said, Don't worry, young master. That kid is as skinny as a chicken. We can tear him apart barehanded. Ma Jung immediately pounded his chest and exclaimed, No need to kill him. Strip him naked and hang him from a tree. I want him to never dare to set foot in Binhai City University again. At this moment, a voice chimed in. Strip him naked and hang him from a tree. What an interesting punishment. Ma Jung turned to look in the direction of the voice. It was Tim Chu who had arrived for the appointment. Lily Han hid behind Tim Chu and whispered a reminder. They are both warriors of the Zheng family, always using numbers to overpower the few. The twin bodyguard sisters just lost like that. Ma Jung sneered at the hillbilly. He can still kneel down and act like a dog now. Tim Chu was twisting his neck, making a creaking sound. What kind of dream is he having in broad daylight? Several people were stunned. Soon, laughter erupted in the room. The crowd laughed so hard that the flowers on the branches trembled. Ma Jung mocked. Oh my, oh my! Ha ha! You surrounded us all alone! So scary! I am so afraid! The laughter hasn't stopped yet. Tim Chu grabbed a big slap hat and came over. Ma Jung was beaten and deformed. Let me help you regain your consciousness. You're welcome. The forcefully awakened Ma Jung immediately ordered everyone to attack together. Don't hold back, get him. But immediately charging at the forefront was the bald man. He was punched in the mouth full of false teeth by Tim Chu. Tim Chu laughed and said, I can't wait to be taught a lesson. Let me fulfill your wish. Then he twisted his waist abruptly. In midair, he performed a spinning kick and sent another warrior flying. In the blink of an eye. It only took a few rounds. The warriors were seen being stacked up like a Chinese pagoda by Tim Chu. Neatly stacked up, a fighter at the bottom shouted, Hey, the big guy on top! Your foot kicked me in the mouth! Tim Chu walked slowly towards Ma Jung. Grandson, how do you think Grandpa should punish you? Ma Jung was so scared that he collapsed, sitting on the ground trembling. You dare hurt me! The Zheng family won't let you off. The conversation is not over yet. And then Tim Chu covered his mouth, stripped off his clothes and hung them on a tree. Tim Chu said coldly, Ma Jung, I don't care about your Zheng family. Listen to me carefully. Lily Han is mine. If you dare to bully her again, I will make you wish you were dead. He then pulled Lily Han away and went back to class, ignoring the group of worthless individuals, finding them distasteful. Lily Han looked grateful, silently thanking Tim in her heart. Tim Chu turned back and said coldly, Remember, I want him hung until evening. Whoever dares to release him early will be hung alongside him. Ma Jung felt humiliated at this moment, tears streaming down his face. He thought angrily in his heart. Tim Chu, Lily Han, remember this. I will make you pay with your lives. Tim Chu and Lily Han returned to the apartment in the evening. Lily Han is grateful to Tim for today. And also I want to. Tim Chu laughed and said, What are you thinking of? That's too touching. I want to commit myself. Lily Han immediately said, Don't say nonsense. I want to become your student. I want to learn to protect myself. Tim Chu immediately moved his face closer and said, All right, but before that, I need to assess your aptitude by feeling your bones. Lily Han blushed instantly. Okay, you are not allowed to take advantage of me. Upon hearing this, Tim Chu's old face instantly turned red. He pulls himself together. He reached out his hand, wanting to see if you were suitable or not. Tim Chu's small hand slowly approached Lily Han, his heart beating rapidly. He swallowed and tried to convince himself silently, thinking that accepting an apprentice and receiving some benefits as a master would be reasonable. Trembling small hand was about to touch the bone successfully. Just at this critical moment, the door suddenly opened. It was Mei Wei and Lucy Wei, the two sisters. Tim Chu's body stiffened. His hand movement suddenly stopped. The two sisters, seeing this, instantly flew into a rage and shouted, Tim Chu, stop, you old pervert! You're asking for a beating. Shortly after, sounds of beating and begging for mercy could be heard in Lily Han's apartment. The sound echoed through the entire night sky. Sisters, have mercy! Help! Meanwhile, in a small grove at Binhai City University, Ma Jung was saved by the arrival of Bill Zhao. Bill Zhao hurriedly asked, Young master, who did this? Ma Jung's face was full of anger and resentment as he said, Lily Han and that bastard surnamed Chu. I want him to be disgraced and ruined, to be kicked out of school like a dead dog. And I want Lily Han to be stripped naked, begging me to enjoy pleasure under me. On the early morning of the third day, in the university clinic in Binhai City, Tim Chu holds his chin. Lily Han comes over. Sorry, Tim. I'm really sorry. I didn't expect it to be so serious. Tim Chu rubs his handsome cheeks. Forget it. This is my fault. Just last night, Tim Chu stormed out in a fit of anger. Lily Han chased after him from behind. You stay here. But he kept walking. He stumbled forward and fell headlong. Tim Chu heard the noise and looked over. He reached out to help. Then Lily Han fell over and hit Tim Chu's chin. Tim Chu rubs his chin, waiting for the person inside to come out. I thought everything was fine yesterday. I didn't expect it to turn out like this in class today. I don't know when the person in class will come out. The doctor in the medical room picked up a surgical knife. The doctor said to the patient on the bed, Your abdominal pain persists, and the cause cannot be found. I can only perform a laparotomy to examine the situation. The young man shivering on the sickbed pleaded, Please be merciful, Dr. Wen. Dr. Wen picked up the surgical knife and aimed it at the young man's abdomen. It will hurt, so bear with it, he said. With a loud scream, the young man ran out with his pants down and urine flowing. I know I was wrong. I won't pretend to be sick for beauty anymore. Tim Chu and Lily looked confused. Dr. Wen walked out slowly, looking at Tim Chu. You're here for treatment too. This beautiful school nurse girl is named Sandy Wen. I am a disciple from the Qing Peak Outer Gate. Also Tim Chu's senior sister from the Outer Gate. Tim Chu and Lily Han nodded hurriedly. Yes, we have come to see a doctor. Sandy Wen leaned over and lifted Tim's chin. Oh, this injury looks quite serious. Come with me. Tim Chu thought to himself. This cold beauty is quite impressive. Not inferior at all to my senior sisters. Then he followed Sandy Wen to the medical room. Lily Han reminded him, "Dr. Wen has a bad temper. You must not provoke her." As soon as the words fell, Sandy Wen locked him outside the door. People outside waited anxiously. In the medical room, Sandy Wen was rummaging through the medicine cabinet and asked, "What's your name? Which class are you in? Wait a moment, I'll make a registration." Tim Chu rubbed his chin and chuckled. "I forgot which class the transfer student Tim Chu is in." Sandy Wen was stunned when she heard the name and thought to herself, "He is the junior apprentice that the master asked me to take care of." She walked over with the medicine and asked coldly, "How did you get injured?" Tim Chu awkwardly smiled and said, "I just fell by accident." Sandy Wen forcefully slapped a cotton swab on Tim Chu's face. "Are you bewitched by my beauty?" "You little flirt." Tim Chu groaned in pain. "Be gentle." "Ouch." Sandy Wen was taken aback. She immediately threw the medicine to Tim Chu to apply it himself. "I'm afraid that I might slow down. Your wound will heal soon." Tim Chu was taken aback. "I haven't finished speaking yet." Outside the door, Lily Han was knocking frantically. "Quick, open the door. Something has happened." On the other side of the campus, Wendy stood at the doorway shouting, "That heartless Tim Chu, I earned money to support him with food and clothing, sent him out of the village. As soon as I turned my head, he abandoned me." Wendy spoke while taking out the marriage certificate. Eyes filled with tears. The onlookers all started to comment one after another. "That's too much. To see someone acting all tough turning out to be a soft rice male. Beauty, don't cry. We'll help you." Lily Han rushed over with Tim Chu. "That's the situation. That woman claimed to be your wife, spreading rumors at the door with a marriage certificate." Sandy Wen followed behind and coldly asked, "Do you need help?" Tim Chu's mouth turned up. "Interesting. There are even people rushing to be someone's wife. Don't worry. I will go meet her." Shortly after, amidst the jeers from a crowd of onlookers, Tim Chu slowly arrived at the door. Looking at Wendy, Tim Chu smiled and said, "I heard you were looking for me." Wendy gazed at Tim Chu and naturally called him "Hubby." She then playfully jumped and snuggled up to Tim Chu, holding his head. "Hubby, Wendy will provide you with food and clothes." "Let you go to college. How can you bear to abandon Wendy?" Tim Chu feels suffocated with depression. Wendy cast a seductive glance at Tim Chu's eyes. "Would you like to go home with Wendy?" A cloud of black smoke slowly appeared and pounced on Tim Chu. Immediately, Tim Chu's eyes became confused. Tim Chu looked dazed and mumbled softly to Wendy, "I'll go home with you." The crowd looked at the two who were leaving and cursed. "He's such an unfaithful man. To abandon such a beautiful woman. He's really heartless." Lily Han looked concerned. Mad Ching walked over and said with a smile, "Lily, take a good look. That Tim Chu is not a good person. You might as well be with me. I will treat you well." Lily Han disdainfully replied, "Dream on. Lily Han would rather be single for life than be with someone like you." Mad Ching thought to himself, "Pretending to be noble. I will get you sooner or later." Sandy Wen watched Tim Chu leave and smiled. She thought to herself, "What is this little pervert Tim Chu up to now?" Watching Tim Chu turn around and stick his tongue out at himself while humming a tune, Sandy Wen thought to herself that this little rascal is up to something. Wendy also found it amusing. Tim Chu was ushered by Wendy to a very formal hotel. Wendy hugged Tim Chu's arm and laughed. "Good husband. Wendy can't wait. You have to be gentle later." Tim Chu laughed at the aggressive words, saying, "I'm afraid I can't control it." But he secretly thought to himself, "This is his goal." Wendy blushed and said shyly, "Oh, honey, what are you saying? You're embarrassing me." And this scene was all recorded by a person at the corner of the corridor with a phone. Wendy closed the door with a slam, took out the phone, and checked the message sent by the companion. The video has been filmed and uploaded to the forum. You can take action now. Wendy immediately started to act. Pushed Tim Chu onto the bed. The face is not bad at all. Then climbed onto the bed. Smiled at Tim Chu. Unfortunately. Who made you offend the wrong person? I can only eat you. As the words trailed off, a smile emerged slowly. Looking at Tim Chu's lips turned up. Instantly using his special ability, the heavenly eye opened. The green light flickered in his eyes as he saw Wendy's true face. Then someone stood up immediately. Kicked Wendy out with one foot. Roared, "Get out of here, you scum!" Wendy was kicked badly, clutching her stomach in a sorry state. "You've been lying to me all along. You were never fooled by me," Tim Chu said coldly. "To be deceived by such an ugly thing like you, I am afraid senior sisters will be furious." Wendy instantly cried out, "Who are you calling ugly? Your whole family is ugly." Tim Chu wasted no time and immediately started punching and kicking Wendy. "Stop with the nonsense. Tell me who sent you," he demanded. Wendy, in pain and crying, begged for mercy, saying, "I confess. It was the Zheng family who sent me. The Zheng family sent their thug, Bill Zhao. I was tasked with seducing you and ruining your reputation," said Tim Chu coldly. "Is that really all there is to it?" Wendy, with tears in her eyes, hugged Tim Chu's legs miserably. "Of course. I am also a student who was abducted. Please, I beg you. Please go die, okay?" Then the evil energy was controlled. Put on a terrifying expression and rushed towards Tim Chu. However, Tim Chu struck back with a powerful punch, reverting him to his original form. "Damn, you're so ugly. A monster like you, who is neither human nor ghost, should have some self-awareness. In return for you telling me the information, letting you live to meet the Special Investigation Bureau." Later, he fought fiercely with Wendy, who was in a panic. After a fierce battle, Tim Chu called Director Zhong. 10 minutes later, Director Zhong arrived with the Special Operations team. "This is what you call a reasonable monster." "Looks pretty good." Tim Chu rolled his eyes. Director Zhong stopped kidding. "I have a sense of aesthetics too, you know." Tim Chu, who has activated the heavenly eye, looked at Wendy. Wendy also looked at him coldly. "The Zheng family will ruin you, Tim Chu." Then he burst into wild laughter. Tim Chu cast a sidelong glance, sneering coldly. "Zheng family stuff? Come again and you'll die." His voice was icy. A chilling intent to kill emerged in his words. Director Zhong handed a cigarette to Tim. "Oh, you've crossed paths with the Zheng family. The Zheng family isn't simple at all." Tim Chu waved his hand to refuse. "I don't smoke." Director Zhong meant that the Zheng family is not easy to deal with. "Can you elaborate?" Director Zhong deeply blew a smoke ring. "Outsiders say that Zheng and Han families in Binhai City are evenly matched. In fact, it's not the case. There are areas where light cannot reach. Adam Zheng's territory is much stronger compared to the Han's." He then extinguished his cigarette and looked at Tim Chu, smiling. "Tim really doesn't come to the office to join us. I helped you cut off Zheng family's hands." Tim Chu laughed coldly. "Thank you, Director Zhong, for the kindness. It's just a little scum. No need for you to bother. I'll handle it myself." Director Zhong patted Tim Chu on the shoulder. "Ambitious. I am waiting for your good news. The bonus has been transferred. Remember to collect it." Received a transfer of 100,000 from Tim Chu. Sighed at the 6-digit balance. Tim Chu previously rejected a commission of 100 million. "The commission was completed by my senior sister. I cannot accept this money." At this moment, Tim Chu regrets deeply. Why did he have to show off? On the other side, Zheng family's thug Bill Zhao took out a mysterious box and placed it on the table. The box started shaking on its own. Bill Zhao was shocked. The ghost woman I carefully cultivated actually failed. That kid has no spiritual power, yet he can resist the ghost woman's temptation. There must be a secret on him. I have to remind the young master. Meanwhile, at Binhai City University, Ma Jung is surrounded by several women. While holding his phone, he is reading posts about Tim Chu's scandal with a smile on his face. The cheeky little brat dares to steal my woman. This time, I will make you lose both your reputation and your life. Looking at the post, the woman beside is trying to please him. How can such a rotten brat compare to you? Deservedly infamous. Such a happy day. Shouldn't we spoil ourselves, sisters? Ma Jung smiled charmingly and said, "Don't worry. I will pamper you both soon." He then answered the phone. "Did you succeed? Is that kid dead or alive?" But suddenly Tim Chu's voice sounded. "Are you looking forward to my death like this?" Ma Jung was shocked and his jaw trembled uncontrollably upon hearing this. Tim Chu appeared in front of him and said coldly, "I am not dead. Are you disappointed? I am lucky." The fortune teller said, "I can live up to 99 years old. It seems your time of death is approaching." Saying that, he grabbed Ma Ding's neck firmly. Ma Jing exclaimed in surprise and yelled, "You can't kill me!" However, Tim Chu ignored him and pressed Ma Jung against the wall and rubbed. Ma Jung was struggling to breathe and trembling as he said, "If you kill me, the Zheng family will never let you go." Tim Chu was full of mockery. "Do you think I would be afraid of the Zheng family? You repeatedly bullied my woman, and now you want my life. Death is not a pity." When Tim Chu was about to kill, Lily Han ran over and stopped him. Tim Chu threw Ma Jung to the ground upon hearing this. "You should be grateful. I am a law-abiding citizen. The next time I will kill you." Lily Han grabbed Tim Chu's arm on the stairs. "You don't know how worried I am about you." Tim Chu smiled and looked at Lily Han. "So worried about me?" Lily Han blushed and lowered her head, thinking to herself, "Because you are the person I like." But she opened her mouth and spoke. "Forget it, I'm not going to tell you. When you get home, remember to teach me martial arts. Don't take advantage of me again." Tim Chu chuckled and said, "Take advantage? Am I that kind of person? I promise I will just use my hands." Tim Chu and two others left. Ma Jung looked at the post on his phone targeting Tim Chu. "Even if Bill fails, I will ensure you are disgraced at school." But Tim Chu's post unexpectedly took a turn. The authorities have come out to confirm Tim Chu's undercover identity. He has become a legendary figure in the post titled, "Trending Hero, Tim Chu is handsome." Ma Jung is furious and frustrated. He angrily threw his phone on the ground and yelled Tim Chu's name fiercely. "Tim Chu, I will make you die." Tim Chu returning home at night, guiding Lily Han with her new skin's moves. Make the movements more precise. Do not shake around while bumping your head against the chest. In no time, Lily Han was covered in fragrant sweat, her eyes brimming with tears. "I can't take it anymore," she said. Tim Chu slapped Lily Han on the buttocks and said sternly, "You have to hold on even if you can't hold on."